Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Paul Taylor. I own and operate TCI Development. We're a building contracting company located in beautiful Southern California. If you've been following along on my YouTube channel or over on our Instagram page at TCI Development, we are up here where we're building this large Spanish estate. We got our building permit and we are now framing some walls. Oh, the wind just picked up, so it's quite windy. Anyway, we are now framing walls. If you followed along on our Instagram page, you saw all the grading process there and over on YouTube, but we're rocking and rolling on this place. So today's video is going to be about information the framer needs and information you need from the homeowner. If you're a contractor getting started out, important information that you're gonna need and important information you're gonna need to get from the homeowner. If you're a homeowner trying to build your own house, important information that you need to give to the framing contractor and your foundation contractor. We're gonna get right into that. Before we go any further, if you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up on the video. It just helps YouTube to recommend our video to other people. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's go over here and check it out, and we're going to get right into important information that your framing contractor needs, unless you are the framing contractor. Important information your framing contractor needs before you ever start plating. Okay, you can see the plates right here, right? There's the bottom plate is the green board, and then the top plate is nailed right beside it. You see how we overhung it over the foundation? Okay, we just tacked the top plate to the bottom plate. And then that way, when we do our layout, we transfer our layout to both of them. Okay, and then when you go to frame these walls, you do not lift off any plate and turn it around. You frame the walls just as they are. Don't ever turn the plates around, because then you'll get confused. One will be backwards and then the wall will be framed all crooked. We don't go for crooked. Okay, so let's get right in some of the important details of framing. Okay, and then we'll talk about the information that your framer needs. You can see right here, header and cripples. Okay, that's what that is. All the beam stock that you see, like this one right here, that's a header. Okay, headers go above doors and above windows. Okay, because you're going to have windows and doors with large spans. You need support above them, something to carry the weight up above. You can see this giant header right here. Look at the size of these over here. Over here we have this massive header because we have a multi-slide door going right there out onto the patio. Okay, let's go over here into framing and I'll cover these in a little more detail. You can see them stand in this doorway right here. See, because this doorway is not a load-bearing wall, it just has a little 2x4 header above it, but it has cripples above it to the top plates. You know, the top plates are always double. You can see how that top plate overhangs because it goes in that channel, right? This is a double framed wall. You can see it right here. And then underneath the header, you'll see right here, you see this 2x4 under the header? Okay. Oh, watch my head. That's a trimmer. Trimmers go under headers. Okay, and then your header up here gets nailed to a king stud. All right, see your header right here? Well, this double that you see right here, that's a king stud. This is a trimmer that's under the header. Okay, everywhere. These are not load bearing. All right, so that's some just important things. If you're not a framer, of course, if you guys are framers, you know all this, so this is not for you. But yeah, headers, sometimes they get double trimmers underneath it, like you see right here. We've got a double trimmer under this header, and then we have a king stud. Okay, now, people like to tear this apart on Instagram, people who don't know anything about framing or building or anything, period. When we get all these walls stood, all this lumber is premium lumber that we purchase from a premium lumber supplier. Okay, it does not matter to me. Lumber has imperfections in it. Once we get all these walls framed, and when we frame these walls, we crown all the studs. Okay, for those of you that don't know what crown means, if you pick up a stud, let me go find one over here somewhere. If you pick up a stud and you look down it, it has a bow in it. Let me look at this plate right here. Let me just see. If you look down it, sometimes they have a bow in it. Ooh, this is probably the straightest one I've ever seen. That bow is called a crown. Okay, studs have crowns. Believe it or not, people say, why don't you use metal studs? Or why don't you use engineered lumber? All right, this is Southern California, folks. You will go broke trying to frame a house out of all engineered lumber. I know a lot of you guys on the East Coast use engineered lumber. You guys in Canada, LSL, LVLs, all that. Down here, it's about 3 times as much, okay? I don't need to use it, right? I don't draw the plans and I don't engineer the plans, but I don't need to use it. We use Doug fir, right? Because I'm gonna come through even if it's engineered lumber. There are imperfections in engineered lumber, okay? They're not always straight, people. There is no such thing as arrow straight lumber. Once we get these walls framed, we will come through and we will plumb and line. And when that's all said and done, and before we do any insulation in the walls, before we do any of that stuff, we will run our rough electrical, okay? We'll do our rough and electrical and plumbing and all that. I have a straight edge crew that comes through and they will use 10-foot straight edges and they will mark any stud that has any slight bows or any of that, and we will use planers and we will plane it out. Because this is a level 5 finish, drywall finish. If you don't know what level 5 is, it could be something different in a different state. But for us here in California, level 5 is completely smooth walls. You will see every hump and bump if you do not do straight edge. I don't care how any of you other framers do it. If you do it your way and you love it your way, that's outstanding. That's what you should do. This is our way. Right way or wrong way, don't know. But for us, that's the way we do it. So always straight edge, always get the imperfections out, always give your client the best product you possibly can, no matter what you're using. Anyway, that's the reason for that. That's the reason you're gonna see the planer. That's the reason we crown lumber. We're not hacks. We know what we're doing. Been in this business since the 70s. So that's just our method. Okay, now let's get into important details that your framer needs before you ever start plating. All right, what are some of those details? Well, let's look at this right here. Right here where this multi-slide is going, we had to do a 3/4 recess in the concrete. I covered this in my foundation video. You can go back and watch it, but look under here. See how the concrete is recessed? So this opening is recessed, almost fell. This opening is recessed right here, and it's recessed all the way back to like 18 inches, all right? Because there's 2 pockets in these walls. I'll cover this when we get into framing. There's a pocket here, there's a pocket over there. All these glass doors are gonna slide together and go into these pockets. Okay, you need to know the track thickness on the bottom of these multi-slides. Your framer needs to know that, and this is why. And so does your foundation. Whoever does your foundations, they need to know how deep to do the recess, okay? I went 3/4 deep, and the reason is I know the track thickness on the bottom of that door. And here's what else you need to know from the homeowner. Before you do that recess, you need to know what flooring they're going to put down, because you need to know the thickness of the flooring so you can put the recess at the proper depth. All right, so that's why. I'll cover this when I get this multi-slide in. You need to know the thickness of the flooring so you know the proper depth. Do you go 3/4? Do you go 5/8? Do you go 1/2 inch? How deep into the concrete do you do the recess? You got to know that flooring information, all right? Here's another thing that you need to know from the homeowners before you even pour the foundation. You need to know this when you're doing the underground plumbing, and I covered this in the plumbing video. Let's go right over here where there's a toilet, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, the owners might decide they want tile on all the walls, okay? They might decide that. Now, here's the standard for plumbing for toilets, okay? From our framed wall, right? We normally go 12 inches to the center of the toilet drain, all right? 12 inches, 12.5 inches. That's standard, okay? The reason for that is when you put a toilet there, that makes the toilet be a little bit away from the drywall. That gives you some room so you can get the lid off the toilet. However, if the owner is going to put tile on the wall, we had a client recently, they wanted 1.5 inch tile on the wall. They decided this later. So what we had to do was, we had to go to their house, my plumber, jackhammer up the tile on the floor, jackhammer up the drain, and put a drain extension on it, okay? They didn't want tile at the beginning, but they changed their mind. So if you're gonna get into building and be a general contractor, you might wanna keep that little note in your mind that homeowners are gonna change their mind all the time. So this is why communication collaboration is imperative. All right. So you touch base with the owner before you pour the foundation, and when you're doing the rough-in plumbing, you say, hey, by any chance, are you going to want tile on the walls behind the toilets or on the wall where the vanity is? If they do, have your plumber extend those out to maybe 13 or 13.5 inches, depending on the tile that the owner's going to put on the wall. A lot of times the owner doesn't know what they want on the walls. So if they're kind of guessing, oh, maybe we want tile, well, then I would just put that toilet drain at about 13.5 inches anyway. Okay, so that's one of the important things. Now, what is some other information that your framer needs? All right, well, your framer needs to give information to hold down information to your concrete person. All right, because we have hold downs going in this wall. We figure out where the hold downs are going to go, and we draw those on the plans for the concrete man or woman or person, right? We give them all the layouts for the hold downs. Okay, super important, right? You got to know where hold downs go. You saw these big hold downs in the wall over here, right? They're all over the place. Let's go over here and check it out. Look at the size of this one right here, right? There's a hold down here because there's a structural post. Look at that. Look at that hold down right there, big hold down. So your framer will give that information to the concrete person. Now, before we poured this foundation, I got a hold of the owners. I said, hey, do you want any electrical outlets in the flooring? They decided, hey, wait a minute, yes we do. He told me where. They're going to have a big sectional couch here. There's the fireplace over there. He wanted an electrical outlet to be under the couch. So I came here the same day we poured, and I put conduit in the foundation. By the way, that conduit needs to be a minimum of 6 inches, okay, under the rebar preferably, because that's now code. They don't want you to ever saw cut a foundation and hit the electrical. Okay, the next thing, this is what your framer needs to know from you if you're the homeowner, okay, or the general contractor, and you're going to get this information from the homeowner. What interior doors are you going with? Okay, your framer needs to know all the rough opening sizes. See this bare framing right here? That's called rough opening size, okay? Now, here's why your framer needs to know that. Because your framer needs to know how long to cut the header. See what I mean? The header goes to a king stud. Under here are double trimmers because this is a long span. This is a closet. Your framer needs to know how long to cut the headers. Okay, I made a video on Instagram and I told people the framer needs to know the rough opening, so they need to know what doors you're using, and are you using standard 5/8 thick jambs, door jambs, or are you using 5/4 door jambs? Somebody asked me, what does it matter what size door jamb is going on the door? Well, it matters because the wider the door jamb, the wider the door, the wider the rough opening, the wider the header. So have your interior doors figured out. The architect will draw doors on the plans, but a lot of times homeowners change those. Your framer needs to know what size doors, width-wise and height-wise, are going in the house. Also, exterior windows, same exact thing, right? Your framer needs to know what size rough opening does he need to frame the exterior windows. Okay, so you need to know the window sizes. The windows have a size, and then the windows have a rough opening framing size. You need to know all that as well. A few other things that the framer needs to know. Fireplaces. What fireplaces? We have a fireplace going out here on the patio. We have a fireplace going over here in the living room. We have a fireplace going in the master bedroom. We have a pizza oven going on the outside patio. You need the dimensions and the specs for every one of those. Okay, just like when you have cabinets built, when you meet with your cabinet guy or person, you're going to need to know all the specs of your appliances. You need to know that before you hire to get cabinets built. What is one of the other things your framer needs to know? Let's go over here and check it out. Here's the garage, right? There's my conduit for the electrical panel. Your framer needs to know what size electrical panel and what rough opening needs to be framed for that electrical panel. I marked it for them because it's a 400 amp panel. 400 amp panels, rough opening framing size is 28 3/8. Okay, it's really 28 1/4. I go 28 3/8, give them a little room so we're not pounding that thing in there. So need to know the rough opening size for the electrical panel. Also, garage doors. Okay, you see this double thick wall here, right? We are not doing any wood trim on these garage door returns. This is going to be stucco. Stucco will come around the outside. Stucco will wrap in all the way to this inside corner, and the garage door goes in there. Okay. Okay, what difference does it make? You might be asking yourself. It makes a lot of difference. Stucco's 7/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so you got 7/8 and 7/8. Now, what if you did wood trim on here, like some roughs on? Well, that's 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Okay, so you got 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches is 3 inches. Then you got 7/8 and 7/8, right? So you need to know the thickness of all that to know what size. So this is going to be a 9-foot, this is a 9-foot garage door going in here. Okay, so we will frame this at 8'10", right? We know what size to frame it because we have the specs of the doors, and I know that I'm not doing lumber there. I'm doing a stucco return, like I said, and super important, right? You guys already saw the template I made for my panel. My panel will sit, it's going to take us 5 minutes to set that panel, right? By the way, electrical panels, ideally you want it about 4 feet to the center of the meter. Okay, 5'6" would be about the perfect from grade. You cannot go any higher than 75 inches to the center of the meter, and you cannot be any lower than 4 feet to the center of the meter. Like I said, 5 feet, 5'6" is about perfect from grade. So keep that in mind. This is in California. I don't know how you guys do it anywhere else in the world. Anyway, that's the information. Super important stuff. Fireplaces, window sizes, door sizes, door jamb thickness, right? Like I said, that door jamb throws people all the time, right? So you need to know the door jamb sizes. Hang on, let me get over here. Like I said, this house, let me give you an example. Here's a 3-foot door, right? Normally, we cut headers, right? For a 3-foot door, we cut headers 3 inches. So if we got a 3-foot door, that's a 36-inch door. We frame the rough opening to 38 inches. Okay, so we would have 38 inches in here. That gives you time to put your doors 36 inches, but then you have a 5/8 door jamb. Okay, 5/8 and 5/8 is 1.25 inches. So there's 37 1/4. Well, we frame these out to 38. Okay, that's the rough opening to the trimmer. But then you have an 1.5 inch trimmer and an 1.5 inch trimmer. So we go another 3 inches bigger for the header. Okay, so you get where I'm going with all that? Now, on this house, we're gonna have a 3-foot door, but our door jamb thickness is 5/4 on each side. 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, that's 2.5. Okay, so you got 3 inches, you got a 3-foot door, right? Then we go another 3 over, that's 39 inches. And then we go another 3 over because we have trimmers, or 1.5 inches each. That's 42 inches that we go with the header. So see, door jamb thickness matters. It's obvious, people. I mean, if you got a 36-inch door and you add a foot to each side, well, you just added 2 feet. It's obvious you need a bigger header. So that is the important information. If you're a homeowner, you need to give the framer. If you're a contractor just starting out and you're using a framer, you're not framing yourself, even if you're framing it yourself, that's information you need to know. Okay, all these fireplaces, windows, doors, electrical panels, in-floor outlets, every bit of that. Also, before you pour the foundation, even though this video is about framing, you got an island here. What are the homeowners going to want in the island? You can see what I ran. I got plumbing and I have electrical, right, coming out of that wall over there, because I know what's going in this island, and I know that because I asked the owners what they wanted in that island, right? And I asked the owners if they wanted an outlet, and at the last minute they decided they want an outlet under the couch, so I ran it from that wall over there. Okay, we will feed electrical in it, bring it up right here, have a floor box. This can be wood flooring, and it will be under his sectional couch, under their sectional couch. So that's it, right? You got bottom plate, top plate, which you have 2 top plates. See them up there? Only one of them has dimensions on it. The other one just gets nailed to the top, right? You got your top plate with the dimensions on it, and then you have your other top plate going on top. We notch those out. That's channels. Anywhere you see blocking like this, wood like that, that's a channel, because we have another wall getting framed. See it right here? Another wall gets framed and nailed off solid to that channel. We put ears that go into that little notch, right? You saw them when they put this wall up over here, right? So that's the information. It's a lot of information, but this is how you become successful as a builder. If you're a homeowner going to do your own project, this is how you have success at your own project. All this information needs to be known. Now, a lot of other stuff going on at the same time, right? I'm already thinking ahead now, way ahead, to the next step after framing. okay? Fire sprinklers, fire risers, all of that. I don't want a bunch of beams and trusses and joists in the way of where important stuff needs to go. So if you're brand new starting out, you want to coordinate with your heating and air contractor, your electrician, your plumber, your fire sprinkler installer. If you're in an area like us, that's mandatory, you have fire sprinklers. You want to make sure that you have room to run all that stuff and you don't have a bunch of lumber that is not structural. I mean, if it's structural and it's got to be there and it's a hold down, you're not moving that. You want to make sure you coordinate with everybody way before you need those people, okay? Already I'm coordinating with people, right? So that's just the way you do it. Way ahead of the game. Stay ahead of the game, right? That'll keep you on track, keep you on schedule, all of that. Keep you on budget, because the more stuff you don't give, the more pertinent information you don't give to the other contractors, then they do something or they frame walls and you come back later and say, oh my gosh, I wanted that door moved over there. Well, now somebody has to come back and do a bunch of remodeling. So all of this is very important, right? I hope this helps you guys with your project. I hope it helps you guys that are just starting out as builders. Keep all of this in mind. Super important details, okay? That's it. Beautiful day. Okay, that's it out here on this project. There's a lot of information, okay? The more information you know, the more information you can give to your contractor. Get all the information from the owner before you pour the foundation. Super important details. Is there tile going on the wall? Is there wainscot, or whatever you want to call it? I call it wainscot. Is there wainscot going on the wall? What kind of wall dressings are going on the walls? You're going to need to know this for your rough plumbing. Okay, also, and I'll cover this when we get into plumbing top out, you really need to know, are these going to be counter mounted faucets, or are they going to be wall mounted faucets? All of this information people need. Your plumber's going to need that information, because he needs to know how much to stub his plumbing out of the walls if there's going to be tile on the walls and it's going to be wall mounted faucets and fixtures. Oh, excuse me. Your plumber's going to need to know that information. So find out now before you even get to that stage, before framing is even done. You're already talking to the homeowner. What kind of fixtures are you going to go with? Give them time to pick fixtures, okay? Because you're going to need all the specs on those fixtures. You're going to need the specs for the cabinets, which means you're going to need the specs for all the oven, okay, microwave oven, all the appliances. You're going to need all those specs. If I were you, I've been in this business my whole entire life. I'm already reaching out at this stage to stuff I don't even need to know for 4 or 5 months, okay? Get that information, write it all down, get ahead of the game, stay ahead of the game, stay ahead on budget, keep the river flowing. That's what I like to say. Don't be the beaver dam in my river, right? Keep the river flowing. So just a little bit of framing information for all of you guys. I hope this helps you out with your project, right? I hope it helps you contractors starting out about information you need to know. I hope it helps you homeowners that are going to try to do an owner builder. And that's it for today. I'm going to head down to another job. I hope you all have a great day, and hopefully you learned something by watching our projects that'll help you with your project. Thanks for watching.